What did you make of that? Because I'm less clear now than I was before he started speaking, and I really, really, really wish I didn't have to say that. I mean, when he started speaking, we were in the midst of a conversation that involved setting up the Prime Minister's message against the Chief Scientific Advisor's guidance, weren't we? That was the point of the phone. And if you're just joining us this morning, we looked at what Patrick Vallance said yesterday, we looked at what Boris Johnson was expected to say today, and we detected a distinct contradiction between the two positions. And I think Boris Johnson just made it worse. You know those dice that you use in Dungeons and Dragons that have like 24 sides? And I mean, we thought we were confused by a 6-sided dice, and Johnson then pulls out a 24-sided one. Because who decides whether you go back to work now? Who decides whether you're safe? Your boss. If it's safe. That was the best bit of the question. That's Joseph Heller himself would have been proud of that. That was pure Yossarian, wasn't it? How do you know if it's safe? Well, it is safe if it is safe. How close was he to actually saying that? So how can the employers make these decisions? How will people know whether or not it is safe at their place of work? And the Prime Minister came vanishingly close to saying, well, it is safe if it is safe. Brexit means Brexit. Leave means leave. These words need actual definitions. You can't just say, it is safe if it is safe. And if I have to wear a mask on the tube that I'm not... Tube, I've got to stop being so London-centric. If I've got to wear the mask on the public transport that I'm not supposed to use unless it's essential, but I could work from home even though my employer has told me that I have to come into work, therefore the journey has become essential and I put on the mask when I get on the train. I have to take the mask when I get back to the office and the office is COVID secure. Who says? My employer says. What are their qualifications? They don't have any. How do I know if it is safe? You know it is safe if it is safe. Is everybody clear now? Are you still with me at the back? And then the question, I almost lost the will to live after Jane Merrick of the Eye asked the question about, was it Jane Merrick, I think, who said some people are going back to work in January? They've been told not to return to the office until January. What's the message to them? Well, the message to them is that they must wear a mask except when they're not wearing a mask and travel by public transport except when it's not essential, in which case they must also not travel by public transport while also travelling by public transport and wearing a mask. Oh, and it's safe if it's safe. Okay. What about the scientists? Oh, don't worry about the scientists. We're politicians. We've got to make the tough decisions. What are the tough decisions? Well, heads and tails. Just toss the coin. Right. And the death toll? 45,000 plus. Some profound concern that the daily infection rate may be turning. And that line about British common sense assumed for me a sinister ring there, because I'm a little bit boring like that. I have the daily cases in front of me. And as he talked about our great success of British common sense. Now, let's pretend that this has been a great success and not one of the most catastrophic responses to the coronavirus on the entire planet. Let's just pretend that it has been a great success for a minute, leaving aside for the moment, the urgent question of how the hell we've ended up in a country where the Prime Minister, who's presided over one of the worst death tolls on the planet, can stand in front of you and tell you that there's been a great success. These are the moments, aren't they, where you feel it slipping through your fingers. That semblance of reality, objectivity, truth, that we've clearly taken for granted for years. See it in America, on a scale that is still almost impossible to compute, but we've got our own little versions going on here. Matt Hancock claiming he locked down on the 16th of March when we were there. We were literally there and he didn't. Boris Johnson describing a great success with the death toll now in excess of 45,000. It's 45,119, I think. That's a great success. Do you know, there's only been, well, I say only, the global total at the moment is 590,000. We're not a large country, population-wise. I suppose we punch above our weight. But 590,000 confirmed deaths worldwide, 45,119 of them are ours. Our mothers and fathers, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, our children. And that man stands in front of you and says that it's been a great success. What would a disaster look like? 45,119 deaths is a great success. What would a catastrophe look like? And He brings that phrase, British common sense, into proceedings because, of course, that cuts both ways, doesn't it? He lies to us about it being a great success. And he credits us with having achieved it. So what does that do? That lays the groundwork for it all being our fault. So when reality begins properly to bite, and the ludicrous, despicable conduct of a Prime Minister claiming a triumph in the face of 45,000 deaths, when that gloss falls off, he's already laid the groundwork for it to be our fault. You see that? It's not a triumph. You know that. I know that. He knows that. They all know that. But it is our responsibility because he just said so. A credit to the great British people. So when he is no longer able to claim a triumph and has to describe a tragedy, a catastrophe, his own hands steeped in the blood of British men and women, he's going to try and blame it on you.